Salam. I will speak in English. I hope this is okay. My Tigrinya is not that good. It's more that small talk Tigrinya. Okay, I'm going to start now. My name is Yohana Gebrihiwet. I'm from Frankfurt. I'm a student in Frankfurt, and I'm part of the organization United for Eritrea. We're not linked to any party politics, or we're not a party. We understand ourselves as a part of a civic society. And we're a group of dissident Eritreans who were born in Germany or grew up there, or both. And our job is to make the public aware of the needs of the Eritrean people, especially in Eritrea, but also in the diaspora. Because, as we all know, the suffering is not finished with to have fled from the country. Too often, with the escape, the battle for survival goes on. It starts from the beginning, or it gets even worse. That is happening in Ethiopia, the Sudan, and Sinai, Israel, and these are only examples. Even in Europe, or even in Germany, refugees are forced to live in inhumane conditions. And our job is to give these people a voice, or to provide at best that their own voices are heard. The situation in Israel, as bad as it is a prime example that Eritreans know quite clearly what freedom is and what civil rights are. They demonstrate peacefully in thousands on the streets. To see this is, I think, a very good sign that a liberal life in Eritrea is possible. The society, at least, is ready. I say that because many claim that some people cannot liberate themselves because they haven't lived in a democracy. But I think this is nonsense, because the fact that a person is born free, we know in our hearts, because our thoughts are free, and our thoughts are the sources of our actions, and we are our actions. So we are, logically speaking, born free. The fact that such a large demonstration is not possible in Eritrea, and that is too dangerous for all concerned individuals, is certainly one reason for the persistence of the regime. A nation is kept quiet with the weapons that were once part of their exemption, what is a real mockery. Even worse is the idea, considering that one cannot even understand this as a Machiavellian policy in which the means justify, in which the end, justify the means. Which end is to be achieved here? A regime that eats its youth, a regime that isolates itself and calls it self-reliance, a regime that enslaves its people and calls it a development campaign. A regime that destroys its economy with corruption. There is no perspective in Eritrea right now. Therefore, not only the youth tries to escape and takes the worst risks and agony. Everywhere, even in the hell of Sinai, or Libya, or Israel, or in the camps of Ethiopia or Sudan, more happiness and safety than in Eritrea seems to be possible. That is really crazy. And we in the diaspora, we need to come together here to talk to them who still protect or even support this regime. Many former supporters of the regime changed their mind and were received with open arms by the opposition. We need to understand that we are the ones that help the apparatus to run still. If the financial assistance would fail, the regime would collapse and the people would be freed. This is not new, it's the fact that we are all aware of, and I know I can even hear them now, the haters who will say, oh my god, this girl hates her country, or she must be Woyana or something. To you I will reply with a quote of Edward Abbey, who said, a patriot must always be ready to defend his country against his government. To become more concrete, a few weeks ago, two of my fellow activists from U4E, United for Eritrea, Ruth and Showit, were invited to a German school in order to speak on human rights violations in Eritrea. It was a Human Rights Week on the school. And they held their speech, and in the pupils' audience there was a little girl sitting with Eritrean origin, and at the end she asked, "Why do you hate your country? Don't you like the president?" It's crazy, but it's the only thing that had wondered her during their speech, and they were only talking about violations against human rights. These children live in a so-called democracy where they can do what they want, they can think what they want, they can Google what they want, but they still seem resistant against the truth of the Eritrean regime. And this is, of course, a result of their education. They're educated like this, and this is the only right way, and don't look to the left or to the right. And this is the major problem of the youth, which is attracted by the young PFDJ, and here must be our work's focus. We have to destroy the idea that you hate your country when you demand a constitution. We are not traitors because we want pluralism. This is real love what we're doing. In fact, it is easier to keep the status quo, especially from the diaspora where you're living very well, and then to bring the change for the sake of our people. So we need to disconnect the regime from the societies and the people's mind. Even the elite in Eritrea know very well that there is this difference. We must not indulge in this egalitarianism, in this nihna, nisu, nihna. Of course, nihna, but not nisu. He has failed. We have to rewrite the history, and when I say we, I especially mean us women. The role of women in Eritrea is, in my eyes, discussed very paradoxical. On the one hand, we are very proud of our former female fighters. We are proud of our mothers, our sisters, and so on. On the other hand, there are huge and special problems that women have, especially in the military, but not only there. Often the facts do not come to the surface because it is a social taboo when it comes to sexual violence, for example. The more it becomes our duty as women to ensure that those topics are discussed. The violence against women that prevails in Eritrea has to be worked up, and of course be rejected. But we have to differentiate in making judgments and be brave enough to call a spade a spade. That is the least we can do for these women, who are our mothers and sisters and children of the former fighters. I am very, very pleased to be a part of this event this weekend and to have the possibility to develop new opportunities and perspectives with you in order to go into a new year full of work and cooperation and to take one more step towards freedom in Eritrea. Thank you very much.